What's up, party people? I'm here with
Brent,
and
Joey?
of.
Liteyears.
All right. So, what is Liteyears? So the people at home that have never heard Liteyears.
A band. No, we're a new band based out of Toronto, and we're just about to release our first EP in about a week.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're some hybrid of orchestral pop. I don't know.
Catchy.
Catchy,
Very
anthemic.
catchy, yeah.
Anthemic choruses are what we're about, and yeah, grandiosity.
Awesome. So, but for the pop edge of it, you guys are deep. It's not just your typical poppy kind of rock and roll. Can you elaborate on maybe where the lyrics come from?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've been huge fans of pop music growing up and
Yeah.
like top 40s, and you know, grew up on things like Beatles and stuff like that. So I mean, catchy melodies are just so embedded in what we do. It's a natural process, but I mean, you know, for us, it's like substance is really important. We have a social commentary to make, and you know, we don't think that pop music has to be defined by just really fluffy lyrics and you know, songs about partying and whatever the hell else it seems to be about these days. Not that we're not down to party, we're down to have a good time too. But there's
Good times at the show.
good times at the show, but there's time and place to be serious, and we definitely take our craft and what we do and our songs very serious. And so yeah, so there definitely there's a social message and commentary.
Do you think a lot of music, specifically maybe pop and R&B and hip hop, is losing its message these days?
I think there's you know, there's a couple things that penetrate and kind of break through the noise, but I mean, it seems pretty few and far between. I think the problem too is just like the way music is consumed. You know, there are a lot of songs that do even break into like the top 10 on the Billboard charts that you know, I think do have substance. I mean, like a song that comes to mind, you know, years back, is a song like Viva La Vida. You know, it's like a lot of people just thought, you know, catchy tune, catchy beat.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of substance to that song. I mean, it's, you know, about just power and the cycle of power and how power corrupts. And you know, another song like Counting Stars by One Republic is one that comes to mind. It's like, you know, a lot of people just think it's, oh, anthemic party song, living up on the weekend. But, you know, from my perspective, anyways, from what I gather from the lyrics, it's about, you know, like money and wealth distribution and you know, how distorted it all is. So, I mean, I don't know. I question whether people are kind of getting those messages, but, I mean, we're trying to be, you know, pretty forthright about those messages and making sure that our points are getting across. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why the lyrics are the
way they are.
The way they are, yeah. It's like,
I'll bring it over to you. Right now, paint a picture. We always try to ask bands this. Paint a picture for what it's like for you guys on the road currently. Like, are you guys stuffed into a van, gear on top of yourselves?
Well, we're just about to do our first tour in October, but that is definitely going to be the case.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously nothing super luxurious with crew and tour buses, anything along those lines.
Exactly.
But
Most people think, oh, you're in a band, you got it made in the shade. Don't worry about it. People load in your gear now.
yeah, it's so easy. You just show up to the next city, play, and like that's the end of your day, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah, wrong. And what the other thing they don't realize is most musicians, Staples plug here, right? Most musicians are still working as well.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Is that the case right now? You guys 9-to-5ers, or you guys picking up jobs when you can?
In my case, personally, yes.
Yes.
I do still have a job on the side, but I look at it as kind of a means to an end
Oh,
kind
for sure,
of thing.
for sure. You go in and you know you're gonna you know what your day's gonna bring at the end of the day, right? Like you're gonna meet up with the boys, lay down some tracks, or think about your strategy about, you know, what you guys are gonna do next.
Yeah, make the next move and kind of do what you really want to do.
I was gonna say I really like your guys' sound. I was thinking, man, who would you guys be awesome to go on tour, like a Canadian-wide tour? And the name that pops in my head is the Ascot Royals. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band.
we know them actually, yeah.
So make this happen.
We've played a few shows with them actually with a past project, and like my brother and I, Brian, who also plays in the band, we're from Hamilton, and I'm pretty sure they're Hamilton boys. They're
Brantford
Hamilton based
boys.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not
yeah.
too far away. So, I mean, that's possible.
I think it should be because
I think we should get a package going.
yeah,
I'd be
because
into
you
that.
know, both bands with a message and awesome dudes. It's nothing but a party show with a message, right?
Yeah.
So your album, is it currently out right now? Can people find your album?
It can be pre-ordered on iTunes right now.
Yep.
But the album release date's August 12th. But if you do get the pre-order, then you'll get a track right away, our first single, Rhythm of the Stars. So.
Yeah. And the album's called
American Towns.
And I wanted to ask about that. Why American Towns? Why not Canadian Towns?
I
I know.
I mean,
oh, Canada.
Is Southern Ontario really Canada? Like, I don't know. I mean, Canadiana is very different than what Southern Ontario feels like, anyways. But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's more just, you know, I guess embodying just the whole concept of you know, the Western world and North America in general. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, being in Toronto, for instance, doesn't feel all that different than being in some American town or city, in my opinion, anyways.
I read somewhere, it was really interesting, your perspective on what the American dream is and the loss of the American dream. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in Canada, I mean, there seems to be, I guess, a little bit of stigma around ambition. And I don't know. I mean, I don't understand the concept. I mean, it seems like bit by bit, people are becoming more and more pragmatic and being okay with that, you know.
Yeah.
And there's fewer people that seem to really be, you know, believing in the idea of doing something on a larger scale. And I mean, I just, you know, for a long time I taught music to kids, and I just kind of noticed year by year this transition, you know, asking kids like, oh, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you looking to do? And you know, you hear those kind of lofty, ambitious dream jobs, you know, astronaut, musician, actor, whatever. And just like bit by bit, it's like it's like that ability to kind of believe in the impossible is just kind of drifted, you know, day by day. And you know, then you have like 4 or 5 year old students coming being like, I want to be an electrician because I heard it's like, you know, really great,
it's a good gig,
really good gig, and you know, it's like really stable. And I mean, so it's a weird concept. So I think that there's definitely been, I don't know, a little bit of a loss, I think, creatively because of it. And you know, I think that's a testament to why, if you look at music and film and anything, it's just like, why do we need more Ninja Turtles movies? You know, the world doesn't need more Ghostbusters
more
or
remakes.
It's like we need new ideas, we need new concepts. And I think that that's where the overly pragmatic distortion of culture, I think, is affecting our overall creativity greatly. So
I really think that's a really neat idea, and to go on, like when a great idea happens, I kind of go with it, and I was kind of thinking of, is it lost because you got to put in the work, or is this generation and maybe the millennials not used to just putting in the work, or are they just satisfied with just taking the easy route?
I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is just like the way culture's structured right now is like there really is no longevity. And I mean, if you look at, you know, a band like the Beatles, you know, who many people would consider the greatest band of all times, and you know, it's crazy the amount of development that happened in just a few years. I mean, that band, you know, it seems like they were around for 50 years, but like they really weren't. It was like less than a decade. It's crazy. But I think that's the thing, though. It's like there is a certain growth that needs to happen. But I mean, with the way, you know, society and culture is structured, it's like everything is so short term. I mean, I think it comes down to like an economical level first. I mean, if you look at, you know, jobs that used to have longevity and used to be these, you know, situations where you'd build a 25-year career. I mean, everything's like year-to-year contracts, you know, no benefits. And I mean, I think it's the trickle-down effect. I mean,
part-time temp, full-time temp.
Yeah, I think it starts there, and then, you know, people just kind of become more fickle and get used to having to change all these aspects of their lifestyle. And I think it affects creativity as well, because, you know, it's like to develop, I think, really great concepts, it's a grind, it's a chore. And I don't know, I just don't think people's brains are hardwired to endure that anymore.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're gonna get back to the party, okay? So when you guys are in the studio, first thing, maybe crack open a beer, talk about what's going on. How does that jam session typically start?
Not usually by cracking a beer,
No?
but we may change that just for you, Berk.
All right, thank you. It's not a beer band then?
I don't drink.
No?
No.
Okay, no, that's awesome. I don't really drink much myself. It flares up the old prostate. You guys will learn about that a little later on, and we'll cut that part. So what walk me through a typical, you know, getting into the jam space. What's going on?
Oh, just getting situated, making sure everything's, you know, hunky-dory, good to go kind of thing, and we just kind of get right to it and make sure we're still, you know, being as precise and in sync with each other as we can, and while still having fun at the same time,
So
tweaking
everyone's
things
bringing
when
their
we need
ideas to the table and saying, or is there a primary writer in the group?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple primary writers, Brent being one of them.
Yeah, I figured so. Yeah. Well, we're talking lyrics and all that, right? Okay, so if people at home want to find out more information about you guys, where are they visiting you?
Liteyearsmusic.com is probably the best place to go, and you can get to all our socials.
And then
from
you're
there.
on everything.
Yeah, we're on everything.
All right. So right now you guys also have a concept. Well, describe that for me with the video aspect to the songs.
Yeah, basically for every song on the EP, we're attaching a live performance video and sessions that we're doing in one of my favorite places in the world, the Zoetic Theater in Hamilton. And basically the concept for is we're just recreating and re-envisioning each song, so completely different arrangements and lots of collaborations. I mean, ranging from, we did one song with a 10-piece drum line, another song with like a 40-piece orchestra, and one song with world percussion ensemble. So it's ambitious and it was a little crazy. We did it literally on a budget of like $0 and just calling a lot of favors from our musician friends, and did it in one chaotic weekend.
Yep.
I don't know how it happened. But again, it's like, our mentality is we believe in the impossible, and and despite not having a crazy $100,000 production budget and having access to a lot of those resources, it's not necessarily an excuse not to pursue those ideas. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way, and we're kind of firm advocates of that. And yeah, somehow we made it all happen, and we've so far released the first 3 installments, and there's 2 more on the way. And I think the biggest one of them all is coming. So
awesome.
There's still more to.
And right now, for you guys, for airplay, is there anything on terrestrial radio?
Yeah, we just our first single was launched last week, actually, Rhythm in the Stars, and actually we've been really happy with the response so far.
Awesome.
There's a couple stations already spinning in rotation, and we've had some future plays. So hopefully it catches like.
Wildfire.
Yeah, I was going to say wildfire, but I'm like, that might be bad taste with.
Well, we're not. No, there's no bad taste. We're not going into it.
No, we're not going into it. Okay.
No, we're not going into
All
that. Well, again,
yeah,
thank you very
so
much.
We appreciate
Thank you.
Time,
yeah.